All right, Liberty, Sam Houston. We've got Liberty 3-point road favorites, 47.5 the total. Don't look now, but looked like Liberty was in some trouble as far as the Conference USA Championship game. And now all of a sudden, all they need to do is win here, and they're in the Conference Championship game against Jacksonville State, who has already clinched and will host the CUSA Championship game as well. So it will be at Jacksonville State. They await their opponent in the CUS, and Liberty could be that opponent because all they need to do is win, and they are in. But so Sam Houston State is still very much alive. They need to win, but they also need Western Kentucky to lose because there is a pathway for the Hilltoppers where if they win their game and Liberty loses, Western Kentucky is in the Conference USA Championship game against Jacksonville State. So it's basically Jacksonville State versus one of Liberty, Sam Houston, and Western Kentucky. Those are the three teams still alive that could get there. And for these two teams facing each other, Sam Houston State needs a win plus a Western Kentucky loss. So they do not control their own destiny. But for them to have any chance, Casey Keeler's team here, Sam Houston State, does have to win still. And obviously Liberty has to win, but Liberty does control their own destiny where it's simple. Win and they are in. Liberty would face Jacksonville State. So both teams need to win, though, bottom line, here to keep their Conference USA Championship hopes alive. I still don't fully trust Liberty as a 3-point road favorite. I don't. Now, I know they picked it up here, and they've gotten a couple of wins here. The last couple. Let's not forget that against UMass, not a very good football team, not a very good defense in particular, and Liberty was life and death in that football game to escape against UMass. That's not what you want to see. Last week against Western Kentucky, probably one of their best games in quite some time. Very complete game. Salter was good. The run game with Cooley and Billy Lucas, Quentin Cooley, Billy Lucas, they couldn't contain them, Western Kentucky. I thought Liberty's defense, while Caden Veltkamp and the Western Kentucky offense moved the football, he also forced 3 interceptions out of Veltkamp, so a very opportunistic ball-hawking Liberty defense last week ended up playing a huge role in that victory over Western Kentucky, and that's why they have control of their own destiny now, Liberty, because of that win that they got last week against Western Kentucky. But now 3 on the road. This Sam Houston State team has had some injuries, but they battled through. They've been a feisty team. This is, by the way, a rematch of a game between them last year where Liberty hung, and this was a Sam Houston State that wasn't as good as last year, and Sam Houston State's driving to win the game in the last minute, and they get stopped on 4th down, like at the 10-yard line. I remember that game, and Liberty hung on at home, 21-16 against Sam Houston State. Now Sam Houston State gets this game. They've obviously struggled against the number 0-5 ATS, but they were favorites in 4 of those 5 games. Yes, they did lose to Jacksonville State last week, 21-11, but Jacksonville State was playing to punch their ticket to the conference, and plus they're just probably the best team right now, Jacksonville State, in that conference. So I don't hold it against. I actually think the defense for Sam Houston CMAC played very well. That's a great offense, Jacksonville State, and they held them in check, and it was a pretty solid effort. It's unfortunately the offense kind of struggled, but they do have Hunter Watson back. He's been back for a couple games at quarterback for Sam Houston. I don't know. I'm just not there with laying 3 with Liberty on the road into this game.
Yeah.
I'd lean Sam Houston. And remember, this Liberty team is still 3-7 against the spread this year. They've been burning money for their backers. CMAC, what do you think here? Big one in CUSA.
Yeah, that was a big win for what we talked about last week. I'd been against Western Kentucky falling off after being great to start the year, and then you have a bad game with all those turnovers. It really could, and then kind of Liberty at a dog price right around there last week. When I saw this, I have to go back. I don't know if Watson's 100%. He looked a little bit better, but the offense still can't move it. I think they remember last year's game. Well, I mean the 3 with them to keep this close. I'm on this under. Just Sam Houston hasn't been able to score any points at all. Both teams can run the ball, and both teams should have success. Like Sam Houston wants to do that. They've been very good, and that's one thing about Liberty with the running backs they have and Salter that should have plenty of success. But I think that just chews up the clock, and at this number, I got 47.5 under here. Under.
Now, we're not talking about the Western Kentucky Jacksonville State game, which is on Saturday, but obviously this game hinges upon what that game is going to mean to Western Kentucky. Because if Liberty wins this game, that game means nothing now to Western Kentucky. They're out. So, and that becomes basically an exhibition game because Jacksonville State's already clinched the spot in the Conference USA Championship game. So who knows if Rich Rod's going to rest Huff and rest some of his starters, some of his running backs in that game. But if Sam Houston State wins this game, then Western Kentucky is playing to get into the Conference USA Championship game against Jacksonville State, and it changes everything. So do what you want to do with that Saturday Western Kentucky game based on how the Friday game here with Liberty Sam Houston plays out. You can't move on that game until you see how this game unfolds. Because if Sam Houston wins, suddenly Western Kentucky's playing to get in the Conference USA Championship game Saturday against a Jacksonville State team that, doesn't mean anything to them. But if Liberty wins, Western Kentucky's out. And yes, that game doesn't mean anything for Jacksonville State Saturday. But if Liberty wins, that game's not going to mean anything to Western Kentucky anymore either because they will have been knocked out. So, again, that game, you don't handicap it. You don't bet it until you see how this game plays out, at least from a side perspective.